Today we are diving into the brand new crime thriller horror Scream 7. This time, the seemingly unkillable Scream Queen Sidney is pulled right back into the nightmare. And the big question is whether she can finally shut down another brutal Ghostface before the body count climbs again. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment below. The story opens in Woodsboro at Stu Macker's old house. 30 years ago, a murder happened there, and now the place has been turned into a haunted-style attraction. Two horror fans, Scott and his girlfriend Madison, spend $1,000 just to get inside and experience the legend for themselves. Once they step inside, the house looks ordinary at first, but the creepy memorial details on the floor make the place feel wrong immediately. Scott is excited and keeps pointing out how much of the old murder scene has been recreated, while Madison is already bored and goes looking for the bathroom. Scott stays behind, still enjoying the horror vibe. While searching the house, she wanders into a dark hallway and gets her first terrifying shock. She runs back outside, but the moment she opens the door, Scott jumps out and scares her again. Since they are both seasoned horror nerds, they calm down fast and head back into the hallway. Scott quickly figures out that the killer they saw is just a smart prop. To reassure Madison, he removes the Ghostface mask and reveals a mechanical head underneath. What looked like a deadly threat turns out to be a fake-out, and the two of them relax for the first time that night. Then they start talking about the old murders, including Billy Loomis and Stu Macker. From there, the couple drifts into the kitchen and starts planning how to enjoy the rest of the night. Scott says he is going to the bathroom first, but the second he leaves, the atmosphere changes. A strange phone call breaks the silence, and the rough voice on the other end claims it is going to kill them both. Madison assumes it is just Scott playing a prank, but the voice suddenly turns into a furious, threatening growl, and that is when the situation starts to feel very real. She hangs up and rushes outside, calling for Scott and needing to see an actual living person before she can feel safe again. The prop starts making noises once more, but Madison is already done being scared by it, so she even walks up and snaps at it. Scott gets hit for trying to prank her, and he quickly pulls off the mask. He had only wanted to scare her, but now he is the one getting humiliated. Then, while they are still talking, they notice the prop beside them twitching. Scott instinctively goes over to check it out, not realizing that this tiny mistake is about to cost him his life. A brutal attack explodes right in front of Madison, and she can only scramble up and run for survival. She tries to make it to the front door, but the killer is too fast. With nowhere else to go, she runs upstairs instead, only for Ghostface to chase her down the narrow staircase. The two of them crash into a violent struggle, and for a moment it is impossible to tell who is winning. Then Madison, driven by pure survival instinct, makes a desperate leap, grabs onto a chandelier, and drags the killer down with her. But the grip does not last. She falls hard, and the killer flips over and lands a knife straight into her chest. Instead of finishing her right away, the killer grabs gasoline, spreads it through the house, and sets the whole place on fire. Madison is swallowed by the flames as panic turns into total destruction. Only after that does it become clear that this was just the opening nightmare. Scott and Madison were never the main event. They were only the warm-up victims before the real bloodshed begins. 1 month later, far away in Pine Grove, Sidney Prescott has built a new life for herself. She is married to police officer Mark Evans, runs a coffee house, and is raising her daughters, including her teenage daughter Tatum Evans. Early on, Tatum is secretly seeing her boyfriend Ben Brown, since Sidney is extremely protective when it comes to her family. When Sidney catches on, the tension between mother and daughter becomes obvious right away, and Mark can feel how much danger the family still lives with after everything they have survived over the years. The next morning, Mark heads outside to talk with the workers renovating the yard, while Sidney stays inside and handles the morning routine. After breakfast, Tatum heads to school for play rehearsal, and Sidney drives to the local coffee shop where she works. Pine Grove may look quiet, but it is the kind of town where everyone knows everyone, and that makes every stranger stand out even more. Soon, the neighborhood boy Lucas Bowden comes in. He is obsessed with the Woodsboro murders and treats the old Ghostface story like a religion. His mother, Jessica Bowden, later comes by too and warns him not to keep talking about crime in front of the neighbors. In a story like this, every name matters, every face matters, and every small detail could be a clue. Meanwhile, Tatum meets up with her two best friends, Mindy Meeks Martin and Chloe Parker. Mindy is the sharp, observant one who never stops analyzing people, and Chloe is the lively friend who keeps the energy up. They head to the school theater for rehearsal, where Tatum's classmates are preparing for the play. Hannah Thurman, one of Tatum's closest friends, gets lifted into the air on stage, but a mechanical mistake traps her midair and turns the rehearsal into chaos. The drama teacher, George Willis, starts barking orders, the operator gets blamed, and the whole production falls apart for a while before anyone can calm things down. Afterward, Tatum gets criticized for not moving her costume well enough, which only makes her day worse. Later, her friends try to lift her spirits, and Ben and Lucas also show up to comfort her before rehearsal finally ends. At the same time, Sidney's phone rings with an unknown number. When she answers, she hears a voice claiming to be Stu Macker. The caller says he is in town and already knows exactly where she lives. Sidney is not easily shaken because she knows Stu was supposed to be dead long ago, so at first she assumes this is just another creepy fake-out. Then the call shifts into a video chat, and a scarred man appears on the screen. Even after 30 years, Sidney recognizes the face immediately. For a second, the image looks real enough to send a chill through her, but she quickly realizes it has to be artificial, probably a deepfake or some other AI trick. Once she sees that the video is being used to taunt her, she gets furious and calls Mark right away. Inside the theater, Hannah is lifted back into the air while practicing the scene, and everything seems manageable at first. Then the operator suddenly goes silent. Hannah does not know what is happening backstage, so she keeps calling for help, but the only thing she gets back is a dead, empty quiet. Then a pair of unfamiliar hands starts pressing the control buttons. Hannah is jerked around helplessly in the air, swinging out of control. Heavy footsteps grow louder, and Ghostface finally steps into view. He shows no mercy. With the blade flashing in his hand, he attacks brutally, and Hannah becomes just another trapped victim with nowhere to run. By the time Sidney gets there, the bloodbath is already over. Sidney rushes backstage, but all she finds is the operator's body, his throat cut open. Police quickly lock down the school theater and question everyone who was present. Ghostface appearing again after so many years throws the entire town into panic. Later that evening, officers escort Sidney and Tatum back to the house, where they search the upstairs and downstairs carefully before leaving. Once the police are gone, Sidney starts packing bags, ready to take Tatum away from Pine Grove for a while. Tatum does not understand why her mother always wants to run. She thinks if she had been better prepared, she might have saved her friend. But Sidney believes staying would only get more people killed. Their argument is still hanging in the air when Ghostface suddenly drops down from the hallway, and the danger becomes immediate. Sidney goes into Mark's room and asks why the lights are off, only for him to realize something is very wrong. The two parents slowly move toward Tatum's bedroom, and their worst fears are confirmed. Ghostface has already gotten inside and is holding Tatum at knife point. Mark is forced to lower his gun to avoid making a fatal mistake, and Sidney begs the killer not to touch her daughter. She makes it clear that she is the real target. Sidney and Mark work together as best they can, but the killer is too violent and too relentless. During the struggle, Mark gets thrown from the second floor and crashes hard enough to pass out. With no time left, Sidney grabs Tatum and rushes her into the bedroom, where a hidden metal safe room offers a brief chance to survive. Ghostface can only slam at the walls for now, but he quickly realizes there is a narrow passage behind the safe room. Sidney uses a wooden rod to jam the blade sideways and block the killer long enough for her and Tatum to escape. When Sidney and Tatum get out, Mark somehow wakes back up and ends up fighting Ghostface at close range. The two men crash together in a brutal struggle while Sidney tells Tatum to go get help. Then a car shows up just in time, and the person getting out is Gale Weathers, Sidney's longtime friend and one of the most famous reporters in the franchise. Gale has spent years tracking Ghostface and knows the pattern better than almost anyone. Sidney and Gale embrace like two people who have survived too much together to waste time on formalities. They then unmask the killer and discover that the man underneath is not who anyone expected. Police identify him as Carl Gibbs, a murderer who escaped from a nearby mental institution. This proves that Ghostface is not just one person, and that the real conspiracy is still much bigger than it first looked. More shocking information comes out when Sidney and Gale learn about Carl's connection to a man known as John Doe, who had been in the room next to Carl at the institution. That man had suffered a head injury, lost his memory, and was only recently released. Once Sidney sees the details, she realizes the so-called Stu on the video calls was part of a manufactured identity, not a real ghost from the past. Still, the actual killer is far from finished. The clues suggest that another Ghostface is out there, and this time the threat has moved closer to Sidney's own circle than ever before. Sidney decides to stop hiding. She agrees to give Gale an exclusive televised interview, hoping to drag the killer into the open through a public challenge. At home, Mark sets up a way to trace Sidney's phone if the fake Stu calls again. The moment another video call comes in, they will be able to see where the caller is coming from. But before that plan can pay off, Mark hears a strange noise outside in the backyard and heads toward the construction area. Night falls, and a group of young people take cover at the bar where Mindy works. They believe staying together will make them safer, because Ghostface would not dare face too many people at once. Inside, there are 6 people total, including Tatum, her friends, and Gale's 2 assistants. As they drink and guess who the killer might be, the atmosphere turns colder and colder because everyone starts looking at everyone else like a suspect. Then the television in the bar switches to Gale's live interview, and everyone immediately realizes the trap has sprung. On national TV, Sidney finally challenges Ghostface directly. She says she is done being hunted and demands that the man pretending to be Stu show himself and settle it face to face. The aggressive speech works. The fake Stu calls again through video and says he is outside the bar, ready to kill everyone inside. Sidney instantly understands that Tatum is in danger too, because Ghostface always follows through. She has to get to her daughter fast. On the other side of town, Ben is trying to take Tatum to Sidney, but the mood changes when Tatum spots his laptop and realizes something horrifying. He has been running a deepfake test that places his face into Stu's image. Tatum finally understands that she blamed the wrong guy. Because the police have locked the town down, the streets are empty, the shops are closed, and there is nowhere to hide. Back inside the bar, Mindy suddenly remembers the pizza in the oven and goes into the kitchen. Lucas follows soon after, and one by one, the group starts splitting apart. The female assistant notices how wrong that feels and becomes more certain than ever that Ghostface is already among them. In the kitchen, Mindy finishes dealing with the burned pizza, but then hears a strange noise from the corner. She turns and sees a Ghostface killer standing in the shadows. Without a second to waste, she is forced into a desperate fight in a tiny, cramped space. The violence in the kitchen draws in the 2 assistants, who rush to help but get attacked the second they enter. In seconds, both are stabbed and knocked to the ground, though the wounds are not fatal. Using the short pause that follows, Mindy stumbles out of the kitchen and right into Lucas. She warns him that Ghostface is inside, but Lucas charges in any way to confront the killer. Before she can stop him, he gets thrown backward and slams Mindy down with him. She is badly hurt and can barely move. With Ghostface still nearby, she has no choice but to hide before he makes his next move. At the same time, Tatum is still running through the streets while trying to keep track of the killer's position. She uses the lights and poles along the road to keep changing direction and create just enough distance to survive. That is when the wounded Ben finally catches up to her, and the 2 of them clear up the misunderstanding between them. But even with the truth exposed, they make the dangerous mistake of slowing down and opening up emotionally right then and there. In horror stories like this, that kind of moment almost always invites disaster. Sure enough, the killer appears behind them and attacks. Ben is killed, and Tatum is forced to keep running through the grief. Tatum eventually reaches the coffee house where Sidney works, and the building becomes her only chance at safety. She gets inside, locks the door, and hides behind it. Sidney, rushing toward the bar, receives a message showing that the cafe door has been opened, and mother and daughter instantly understand each other without needing to say much. Tatum tells her what is happening, but by the time Sidney reaches the cafe, the place is wrecked and Tatum is gone. Then Ghostface calls again and says the game has reached its final stage. This time, he wants Sidney alone. According to the address he gives, the final showdown is happening at Sidney's own house. Sidney refuses to call the police and decides to face the danger herself. After searching the property, Sidney finds the killer and Tatum in the backyard. She begs him to spare her family and says she will do anything as long as the innocent are left alive. Then the killer finally takes off the mask. The first reveal shows Marco Davis, the mental institution supervisor, meaning he was the one using his technical knowledge to create the fake Stu identity. But that is only half the truth. A second Ghostface steps out of the shadows, and this one drags out a body from the back garden. It is Mark, still alive but badly wounded. The second killer unmasks too, and this time it is Jessica Bowden, the neighbor Sidney never suspected. Jessica explains that after reading Sidney's autobiography, she convinced herself that Sidney had survived by destroying the people who tormented her, and that logic pushed Jessica into murdering her own abusive husband. When Sidney vanished from public life, Jessica became bitter, met Marco at the institution, and then moved next door with her son Lucas as part of her bigger plan. She wanted to turn Tatum into the next Sidney by forcing her through the same trauma that created a final girl in the first place. While Jessica is still ranting about her twisted dream, Mark quietly frees Tatum. The second the situation turns, Sidney and Tatum fight back together. Marco goes down, Jessica tries to escape, and the final battle explodes across the yard. Tatum proves that she is not going to become anyone's victim, and Sidney fights with the same survival instinct that has carried her for decades. After one last brutal clash, Jessica is finally put down for good. Mother and daughter, working side by side, end the nightmare. Police rush in, the scene gets sealed off, and Mark is taken away for treatment. Gale arrives too, along with the assistants who survived the night. Sidney thanks Gail for standing by her one more time, and after everything she has been through, she finally appreciates how rare and precious peace really is. That is the end of Scream 7. The movie keeps the same familiar slasher rhythm the franchise is known for, with the same kind of scares, twists, and over-the-top survival energy that made the series famous in the first place. Subscribe, like, and comment if you want more horror recaps like this one.